I just use, you know, there again, there's all these fancy orchid fertilizers, and of course I have some of the fancy orchid fertilizers. You don't really need anything fancy. Most any general houseplant food will be just fine for orchids, but use it at about 1/4 strength. Don't use it at the full strength. Whatever they have on the instructions for mixing it up, do it about 1/4 of a strength, and that's fine. If you really want to get into it, depending on what you have, there's this like a bloom booster. So when I see a spike starting, I might use this, and I don't know if it really helps or not, but it makes me feel better. I don't know about the plants. For some types of orchids, especially when you're growing in bark, which is what most of my orchids are growing in, usually it's a higher nitrogen, a 30-10-10, because the bark as it breaks down tends to rob nitrogen. So I use a little bit higher nitrogen. And for things that are growing in other types of media, like sphagnum moss or something like that, this is like a 7-8-6, so it's not quite as high in nitrogen. But to be quite honest, at the end of the day, don't really worry too much about that. You know, if you've got Miracle-Gro, just 1/4 strength or whatever you have, and just use that. That's fine, because orchids really aren't that big of feeders. Yes, it's still nice to give them a little fertilizer once in a while. Don't do it any more often, at the most every couple of weeks at the most, and that's really only during the really growing seasons of late spring through early fall. You might not even want to fertilize them at all during the winter time, because they're just not really using up that much energy because the light, is less. They just don't grow as much generally.